Hello, this is Paola Guthrie with Creating Purpose with Pao. I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and Her Network on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download the app Zingo TV on the respective app store. While you download the app, please rate it and leave a comment because feedback is important to us. The app is totally free. You can find Zingo TV on Google Chromecast, on Amazon uh, Fire TV sticks, Roku, Roku sticks, and all of the new smart TVs from 2060 and forward. Thank you for being here. Today in the house, we have Stanley Dietrich. He is a certified life coach at 360 Life Without Limits. And he's also a pastoral alignment specialist. And I welcome you to the house. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Paola. How are you this day?
I am doing fantastic. So please share a little bit about you so that we get to know you more.
Sure about me. I am a dad of two. I'm a grandfather of one and another one on the way. So I'm super, super excited about that. And what I do is I get the invitation to inspire people and also be inspired by people, just like yourself.
Thank you. So now share with us, how did you find the purpose to inspire people?
The purpose to inspire people. How do I find? That's a great question. The anytime you can see a light come on, let's go back into my own life. When I experienced celebrations, I looked outside myself for someone to celebrate with me, and knowing that that energy is back and forth, it made me feel good about that. And so that became my purpose. It was like, how can I do that for other people and still get that energy back and celebrate? It's kind of like going to a birthday party every day. And you get to bring your presence, and not just in a box, but in yourself. And then they bring their presence and you celebrate. And so that is what my purpose is every day. It's like I ask God, I say, who will you allow me to cross paths with today, whether it be on a Zoom call, a phone call, or in the store, that can make a difference, not only in my life, but in their life, more importantly. And then that just reflects back to me, and it just grows. It's like putting Miracle Grow on it, and it's like a bamboo. It just shoots up, all of a sudden.
That's amazing because one of the things that I love about Stanley is that he always brings his coaching sessions with Bible stories. Like he always, you always bring you're the one person that I have spent time with that's always bringing stories from the Bible, stories that I haven't even heard. I'm like, where did he, I was like, I need to go back to that and read that story because he's always bringing, coaching wisdom attached to a story from the Bible. And it's something that has really light me up, bring add to my wisdom and understanding. So I appreciate you for having that talent because I think that's a spiritual talent that you always bring to the birthday parties.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's the very thing that I utilize in my own life. And I go, who is it that might have been experiencing what I did? Because I don't get to create all my problems. Somebody else already created them in their life. And all I have to do is learn from their mistakes. And I go, who is it in the Bible that ever felt lonely or ever did something that they really, really didn't want to be doing, or somebody who felt like too much has gone beyond their capacity? And I see story after story after story. And it's not just a book of stories. It is a book about a kingdom. And when we understand that who we are is based on whose we are, and that's my foundation. And so I apply my faith. It is not religiously, it is scripturally, and there's a big difference, So I don't want to get too deep into the churchianity kind of mindset. But I can talk to anybody. It doesn't matter where their theology is. If we apply the principles of gravity, okay, you're going to get the same results. If you apply the principles of Scripture, you're going to get the same results. If you apply the principles of mindset or coaching or health, guess what? You're going to get the same results because principles don't change.
I love that. And that's something that I learned that just here lately. That is like, there are the principles that never change. So
Yes.
thanks for bringing that up. But yes. Now let's talk about imposter syndrome. What are your thoughts about we as people dealing with that imposter syndrome?
Well, imposter syndrome is something that I think that we all experience. And most people do experience it at one point or another, whether it's a parent having their first child or their second child, or the kid is crying and they just feel frustrated, like they don't know enough. The last time that I checked, and I only have two, and at that time they hadn't written a book yet in the thousands of years that parenthood has been going on, where all the answers were given. And so we can feel like an imposter. And then when you take that now into the workplace, you can have great accomplishments and be overqualified and working with underqualified people, and then get the cold shoulder and then feel like you do have imposter syndrome, like you don't have enough. And the sad thing about imposter syndrome is it is not labeled or classified as a medical condition, and yet it causes fatigue, it causes stress, it causes ulcers, it causes multiple things that take place in our brain, and then those chemicals also go into our body. Okay, and it looks like I'm frozen, but
I can hear you from here. You're I mean, it's staticky, but I can hear you.
So this is what takes place, and we can second guess ourselves in what we are experiencing.
Yes, I'm glad you talk about the workplace, because I mean, it happens to everybody, like you said, imposter syndrome. But here, talk about leaders. Leaders, we have to learn to lead ourselves first. That's the level number one of leadership. So whenever you're in the workplace and they're trusting you to move up a level, to be in charge of a department, to guide and instruct a new team, then sometimes you might doubt yourself that you're not capable of. And here's where the imposter syndrome kicks in, when you begin to wonder if you don't have what it takes, when you begin to wonder that you might not have the skills, that you're not qualified. So that plays in our head, and it can be deteriorating to our health, because stress kicks in, the anxiety of thinking that you might fail. So it's just a cycle of hormones that are not balanced, right? And it just takes us to experience the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm of just a thought. It's just a thought that we created. And that's what is funny. That is like, it's just a thought that we are creating. And that proves to us that thoughts are powerful. What we think, what we focus on is what we're going to feel. We have the power to create the dopamine, the serotonin, like all the endorphins, just by a thought. It's like we can stress our minds just by thinking that we're not qualified, that we're not enough, that we still have another 3 years, or we might need to go back to college and get that master's degree or the PhD for us to feel like the title has more credit than we have credit.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we tend to compare ourselves with this imaginary idea of of what is expected. And more times than not, that expectation is put on by our own self. So we predetermine how the outcome is already going to be before we get there. And that's where we can create, there's two sides to that coin. The one side, the head side, let's just use heads and tails, heads being the positive and tails being the not so positive. The head side of that is walking in with confidence and owning who we are. The tail side is that we begin to formulate or create a predetermined mindset around the environment that we're walking into, and what we would expect to be there may not be there, but we can respond to that expectation that we create. It's the dragon inside of our brain that we create. Fear is caution over a real and present danger. Anxiety is a fabricated possibility of a future outcome that hasn't happened or isn't even close to happening. And so this is when that imposter syndrome comes in. We go, maybe I don't have enough knowledge. Maybe I haven't had enough schooling. Maybe I'm not smart enough. And we create those scenarios in our head before a lot of occurrences, a lot of occasions.
Yes. So what if we begin to discover the beauty within us? What if we begin to look ourselves inward versus outward? Like Stanley and I were having a conversation the other day that we look for the outward satisfaction, thinking that is going to bring us peace, thinking that is going to make us feel that we're valued. So it's like, I believe that it is time for us to begin and dive into the beauty within us without having the exterior expectations of a telenovela that you grew up with watching. The ideal perfect life. We're trying to achieve that perfect life with the exterior, don't you think, Stanley? We're trying to fulfill our internal necessities with the external world.
Yes.
Like buying a car, like buying a brand new car.
Yes.
For experience. And I can share this, is like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I think I bought my very first brand new car. And we were having uncertainty in our lives. Our house had caught on fire. We were not living in our place. We didn't know if we were going to sell the house. We're dealing with an insurance company. And then we didn't know if we had to tear the house down, rebuild the new one, or sell it and move. It was a huge uncertainty. I had my children, but mom, asking questions because their uncertainty was to the roof, so I had to protect them and protect their psychology. So one of the things I did is like, we went and I got a brand new car. And that brand new car gave me the certainty, and it gave me the significance that I needed. It's like it fulfilled my psychology somehow. It only lasted for a couple of months because after you have the new car, it's like, okay, it wear off. But we do things like that to fulfill, an internal need that it doesn't, like a new car didn't really last, that satisfaction didn't last for a long time. So that's just an example that I wanted to share to bring that to awareness.
Yes. And that is exactly what so many people do. They think that the better job. Okay, so most people are starving on the salary they once dreamed of. And, we think that if we have enough accolades behind our name, or we have more degrees on the wall than there is on the thermometer, we think that somehow that's going to give us the validation, and then we look at those degrees and we go, I still don't feel enough. And this is where imposter syndrome comes in, because we've decided what that should look like, and when it doesn't match the image, that the blueprint that we wanted, then it's discouraging. And so we buy the bigger house, and we buy the boat, we buy the newer car, and it's shiny, and it helps us forget until that new car, new house, new boat smell wears off. And then when you show up, you go, something's still missing. It's because exactly what you said. Imposter syndrome comes when we're looking on the outside to fill us the void that's inside. And that can only be done by ourselves. And so how do you overcome that? And it is taking just a slow walk and look at yourself and go into a state of appreciation and gratitude for who you are. And I never tell people to compare themselves with somebody that's living in, Zimbabwe. That is just dumb. That's a dumb suggestion. The suggestion is, look at where you've come from. Look at what you've accomplished as to what you wanted to do, not your neighbor, not your sister, not your mom or dad. My children have different career mindsets than I might have formed, but listen, they came out beautiful, and there's no way I could have formed that. So I appreciate their gifts, and when I can appreciate others' gifts, if I can't appreciate mine, it's difficult to appreciate others.
That is beautiful. Yes, go back to see where we're at right now and how far, we have arrived already, how much we've grown. Our blessings is like, just count your blessings, and gratitude. It's a beautiful emotion for us to remove the imposter syndrome. When we're grateful, there is no room for sadness. When we're grateful, there is no room to be angry at life. But it's like, if we truly experience gratitude, if we begin to see the beauty within us. And I know it's hard. It's hard whenever you're not at the right environment. Sometimes, it might be hard whenever you're so excited because you found your purpose, or you have this new job that you got, or a new position, but there is no people that support you. Like, your people that you think, like it's your people, doesn't support you, doesn't agree with you, or there is no support, like you don't have that support system that you want. Then that's whenever you begin to wonder, is this the right thing? Is this truly my purpose? You begin to have the self-doubt. And here we go to our self-value. And this is a conversation that Stanley and I were having here lately, where it's like, at the moment that we begin to think that we have to lower our standards to meet other people's standards of ourselves, then we're practicing imposter syndrome, because we're devaluating ourselves. Oh, maybe I need to keep it small. Maybe I need to keep it quiet, because I might be stepping on their toes. Maybe, like what I'm doing, they don't agree with it. But in your heart, that you want to take that position. You want to lead the new team in the company, but you might not get the support of the coworkers that you thought they were your friends, and you're doubting yourself because they might think that you feel better now that you're at a higher level. So you deal with that imposter syndrome because you want the love. That's what we're seeking. We want the love and the acceptance to those around us, and whenever we don't get it, then we suffer.
Yes. Yeah. um, you had several great points there, and it is that assessment. It's that personal assessment, and playing small. I can't even tell you how many people I've witnessed play small so that they didn't offend other people. And it's there's a voice in the back of our heads that says, who do you think you are to be here? And, people will remind us, remember where you came from. And I use that phrase in my own life. I never forgot where I came from, but I never want to go back there and live. And it's not that I'm better than the people I'm better than the situation. And so when I separate the situation from the people, then I'm able to help bring other people up, because it's not how far can I go on my own? It is how far can I go and bring others with me? And this is the beauty of it, and it's because we look at statistics and we look at how is our book doing? How many likes did we get on this picture? I don't have a cat, and thankfully, because I would probably be posting the pictures of my cat on Facebook. And no offense for those of you that do, but that's not where I get my significance. And cats don't really. I have an allergy to cats. Anyway, that's another story. But it is that feeling of within. When I wake up in the morning, I wake up and number one, I'm thankful to God that my heart beat and I had no control over it. My brain detoxified my body. I had no control over it. And my lungs continued to expand and contract. And I know that every day that I am on this side of wherever the bed, if I didn't fall out, then I know that I have a greater purpose than I even understand. And I'm the only one that can do that. And that's not an arrogant saying. That is a fact that you were created to reach a people, a population, or organizations that only you were designed to meet. Not me, not Tony Robbins. You go to the store, go to the common area and ask people, do you know who Joseph McClendon is? Or do you know who Tony Robbins is? Or do you know who Jim Rohn is? And I did this the other day and they're like, no, who are these people? I didn't bother to ask them if they knew who, anybody else was. And this is the thing, it's, I don't get my significance by dropping their names. I get my significance by understanding who I am and what I've been created to do.
Yes, you go back to that, to seek the beauty within you.
Yes. Yeah.
And try to see, our strength, because we're stronger than we were before the pandemic, for sure.
Yes.
So it's just reflecting and see how far we have come. And another thing I wanted to bring up is, like, Stanley and I were having a conversation, and it's like whenever we look for an outfit, like if I'm going to dress up to go to a friend's house, and if you feel like you're overdressed, he brought this to my attention. He said, the moment you're questioning yourself that you're being, is this being overdressed? You are, practicing that imposter syndrome, because you're trying to lower your value before you go to a friend's house, because you don't want to look overdressed. Yes. And he, like he told me, he's like, what, like, then if you walk in lowering your value, who's going to inspire who? Exactly. And that was like a big aha moment, because whenever we do that, we're stealing them from it could be from a gift, to serve or to share, like, hey, that is a beautiful dress. I love your shoes. I like your hairstyle, or I like your makeup. We're stealing them from the opportunity for them to share and give an opinion, if they want to. It's not like they have to, but it brought an aha moment to me whenever Stanley is like, well, if you're going to do that, first of all, you're already practicing imposter syndrome whenever you're questioning yourself if this is the right shirt to wear to go to your friend's house. And then you're lowering your value. And then who's going to inspire who if we're always trying to lower our standards to feel accepted? It's a selfish move. Now it's an aha moment that I'm getting now. We're being selfish then, all because we want to be loved and accepted.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So many people do that, and they they play small, and we're trying to appease everything on the outside. And when we look at lives, let's use Robin Williams for example. Here was a man who could make everybody laugh, and he couldn't make himself laugh, and that imposter syndrome is what took his life. That imposter syndrome that wasn't addressed or wasn't dealt with. It was real. It was inside. Nobody could see that on the outside, or very few. If they did see it, they didn't bring it up. They weren't aware to bring it up, and that's an extreme. But what did it take to get there? How many times did he find himself in environments that he was there because he needed to be? And Elvis Presley was another one. I loved Elvis. I grew up listening to him, and Elvis didn't want to be a singer. He wanted to be an actor. And so they put him in movies that he sang because they wanted him to sing, and he wanted to be an actor. And Elvis died at 42, and when I was a kid, I think I was 12 years old when he died in 1977. And I thought, what a shame. And when I got to be 42 years old, I remember thinking, this is how old Elvis was when he died. My life hadn't even started. And, here was someone who was, quote unquote, the king of rock and roll. And Elvis had an imposter syndrome because he didn't want to be fitting in the role that he was in. He was good at it. And one of the reasons I started my business was in what I do with people is that I said, I no longer want to do what I'm very, very good at. I want to do what I'm passionate about. I want to do what drives me and wakes me up every single day, what I do every day in the field. And then I had a note from someone, and they sent me a message and said, how's that you're going to not continue to do what you're very, very good at and doing what you're passionate about? Because I gave them a date, and I said, I am doing that. And that was it. And, when people step into their particular greatness for that period of time, when they become who they are intended to be, the imposter syndrome, they can take control over that. And anything that we allow, and I say we allow because we're the creators of our destiny. We're the creators of our day. When people get up and they say, well, I know it's a nice day, but we really need the rain. I'm not doing too bad. Well, what is too bad? Why do you want to do too bad? Why do you want to just do just above bad? And you just laugh. And it's because they haven't tapped into really what they want. They've allowed the outside to form them. And then we wake up, and hopefully what we can do as what I do, hopefully what I do, it will inspire people to take a second glance and go, you know what? I am freaking awesome. I'm amazing. And I was created for this. And I'm going to make as many people laugh or step up to their capacity. And I'm not going to stay on the bottom step anymore. And If you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, you wish you were. And I just smile all the way. I mean, this is, you have a beautiful smile. And so you invite people into that. And I know that I was on a call and one of the folks on the call shared that they feared success because they saw what success was doing outside of, the family structure. And the fear of that was that they didn't want to end up like that. And here's where imposter syndrome can come in, because we fear the thing that didn't happen yet, but what we perceive has happened because of the success. And so then we'll play small, and people will say, well, if I just make enough money to survive, I don't need money. Money is a evil thing. And I say, no, I don't think so. Just because people do evil things with money doesn't make it evil, but it won't make you a bad person. It won't make you selfish. It won't make you any more or any worse than what you are. But what it will do is it will allow you to do things with and for other people that you couldn't have done otherwise. And so if you step into your greatness and bring people up with you, then you can change a company, you can change a family. If you change a family, you can change a nation. And if you change a nation, I mean, that's what we really need right now. We really need leadership, and we need people that are not imposters. And it is not just saying we're in this together, but actually proving and showing it and wrapping arms. And it's just when we can wrap arms with ourselves first, then we can wrap arms with other people. But, when you're in an airplane and the air mask comes down, you got to put the mask on yourself first. And that's where imposter syndrome really has a root.
Yes, I'm glad you cover several things that, let me see if I can recall and help you, all of you, like to take a great message from these last 5 minutes. So the association we do, like the association we set to success, the association we label to money, like we are doing it. It's like, it's our like, we have the freedom to choose. We're choosing to associate success into, well, if I reach success, that equals divorce. Like,
Yeah.
No. Why? Well, it's just the fear that, that I have. Well, why? It's like, there is no signs of divorce right now. Why? It's like, and we allow that fear to stop us to continue to grow, to continue to give. So it's the association we label things to. We, we have the freedom to. We have to be clever enough to be like, how am I associating, like success with marriage, or success with family? How are we associating going to the next level in your leadership, with family or with your coworkers? How can we truly, why don't we give it a better meaning? Because we have the power to it also. Like, we have, this is going to be amazing, and I'm going to make sure it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to set up a plan, and this is our habits that we're going to set, that we're going to implement for us to continue to move towards success, and at the same time build a great team in the company and continue to nurture my family. But it's like, it's in planning, associating it first, and then set a plan. What are the habits that we need in order for us to achieve that goal? And then Stanley talked about people that have taken their life because they they get into the imposter syndrome, that they may think they're not enough. Now, Stanley and I have had trainings that have taught us that whenever we grow, like we choose to grow, that equals happiness. And whenever you contribute, you're not keeping it to yourself, because what good would that do? If we keep this knowledge to ourselves and not share it with anybody, is like that's the wrong thing to do, because you don't want to get to the top alone. You want to bring other people with you. So whenever we grow and whenever we contribute by sharing with others, by bringing others aboard, that bring us an outstanding lifestyle. Don't you think, Stanley?
Yes. Yeah.
And if we can
You.
bring teenagers
Yes.
aboard, like if we can bring our people, like our, whoever is willing to receive the message, because not everybody is willing to receive our message. But those who are, that you are surrounded with, our teenagers, is like grow and contribute, so that we can get them out of the funk of their depression. And I mean, it begins with us. It's like that's one of the things that Stanley, through his coaching, is always remarking, is like everything is within you already. His questions are amazing because it has allowed me to, discover that everything is within me. It's just my mindset that sometimes it gets on our way. It gets in my way. So that's what kind of stop us and keep us strapped into that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, very, very excellent recap. And when we can apply this to ourselves, just as you have, look at just look at your own experience. Your acceleration is amazing. And it is that we need others to do for us what we want to do for others as well. So it's, if you have a vacuum but the air can't escape, what would happen? It would blow up the canister. Air has to go in, it goes through a filter, and then we get rid of it. And it's the same way with what we do with ourselves. What we bring in, we have to go, okay, what is good here? What do we save and what do we get rid of? And we get rid of to make room for more. And then we take elements of that. And but if you never empty the vacuum and you just pulled it all in, then you'd be full of just junk. And I don't know what they've done to recycle the vacuum cleaner stuff. I don't recycle it. They recycle everything. But look, there's one thing, recycling. What could we do with trash? What could we do and turn it into something that's better? Or we perceive trash. It's just extended one use. Now, what else can it be used for? When we take our knowledge and we go, what else could it be used for? What else could it be used for? I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes, like share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Please share it. And that's it. Stanley is a phenomenal coach and guide and bring you out what may be stopping us from moving forward and achieving what we want. I totally agree with Annette. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're amazing. So share now. We have this comment. What are you doing right now in your coaching business? Please share with us.
Say that one more time.
Your coaching business, like what's going on right now that we can let our audience know, just in case they are looking for a coach.
Well, I've opened up for a group coaching, and if anybody's interested in group coaching, learn how to take your coaching to a different level. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to post stuff on Facebook, because my Facebook is as naked as a newborn baby, and there's not a whole lot there. But it is, how do we connect, and how do we connect with our people? How do we help them lead, and how do we help them teach? How do we know who we are so that we can help them discover who they are? And what I do in my coaching is, I am a guide. I am never going to, I don't want to be your hero. I want to be your guide. And the ability to extrapolate out of people what is already within them. You already have so much that is untapped. It is unbelievable. And when we discover that we are more than what we think we are, and we have more than what we think we have. And if we utilize that, we could change a nation. We really can. And it's just the power of putting that forward. And it's when you know your strengths and when you know your weaknesses, and when you're able to communicate that with other people and help them to draw that out of others as well. Those are the things that I will teach. And I don't want to give too much away here, but I also do individual coaching, and I help take people further, faster, and really do annihilate what they've experienced. And people have carried baggage for years and years and years. And we have a session and they go, oh my gosh, I've been carrying that around for more than 40 years, more than 30 years. And I didn't realize it was that easy. And we complicate. How many times do we complicate things, you know? So one of the other things that I do is postural therapy, and pain, whether it's physically, spiritually, or emotionally, it is because something is out of alignment. So if my thoughts aren't in alignment, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to have the imposter syndrome. If my body's out of alignment, I'm going to have physical pain. And physical pain is just the body's way of saying, hey, something is out of place here. And what I do in my postural therapy is I do it virtually. And I tell people, I will get you out of pain. If you trust the process, I will get you out of pain. If you've had pain for 40 years, why? If you are going to a modality that is not working and you're paying, why? These are the questions that I ask, and people go, well, I go to a modality 3 times a week. And I say, how long have you been doing that? Well, for 2 years. And I go, are you getting better? Well, no, not really. I get relief for a little bit. I go, do you want relief or do you want to get this eradicated? Do you want to do the things that you want to do? And I work with professional athletes. I work with kids. I work with women, with men, with children, scoliosis, hip disparity, herniated disc, headaches. I can help runners run faster. I can help quarterbacks throw stronger, longer, farther. And it is all getting the body into postural alignment. And it's through a series of exercises. And they're fairly passive. And you go, that's going to work. And then they do it and they go, wow, I'm amazed. So I tell people, if you have pain and you've had it for more than 6 weeks and you're tired of it, then reach out to me and let's set up a call, and I'll share with you how you can become the hero of your life and transform your physical experience. And you're not going to find it in a pill, and you don't have to wait till you need to be going under the knife. So many people carry it and they'll say, well, I got arthritis. And I say, well, why is that? Well, I'm in my 50s, you know? And I said, do you have arthritis in the other leg? And they say, well, no. And I said, oh, did you get it at a different time? It's kind of a play on humor, right? But that's the fact. We buy into the narrative that doesn't fit us. Whether it's imposter syndrome or whether it's pain, physical pain, we buy into a narrative because somebody else thinks they know more about us than we do. And that's where the disalignment comes in and pain takes place.
Yes. And I want to add that my husband hired Stanley to be his coach because he had a pain in his shoulder for a long time. I think for about 6 months, and he thought he could fix it himself. So he stayed in pain for months until he reached out to Stanley, and he was able to heal, that pain, and he's pain free now. Like he would not sleep at nighttime. It took him a couple of months to heal. But yes, it's just exercises that he had to do, I think, in the morning and at nighttime and it stretches the muscle. I'm not very good with the Egoscue method. I love some of the exercises that that we do, and it does make me feel better. It balances my. I can tell that my body's balanced. So yeah, so Billy's good. Like he's healed, and it was a rough time when he couldn't sleep at nighttime because his shoulder was hurting. So I love the Agascu method, and I think we all should be able to practice this time. Sometimes they're just simple exercises that it doesn't take more than 10 minutes, and you can feel your shoulders lighter, and you're just ready to go for the day. So
Yes.
yes. Now let's touch on pain, because pain, I've like from what I have witnessed, we only have about just 3 minutes, but pain, sometimes we get attached to pain because it serves us in a way. It gives us significance because people are uh, checking on us. Sometimes pain is attached to connection because we connect with a painful, sad story that we're telling ourselves. So sometimes it gives us that certainty that we need, like, oh, if I say that I'm hurting, I'm going to get out of going to school, it's just an example, or going out like getting out of doing a chores. Or sometimes it gives us the uncertainty that we need in our life, and we get attached to the pain, and the depression too, like, because it meets other needs in our life. So we have to be clever enough to be like, okay, let's be tough and be like, okay, what do we want? What do we want? We want to fix it, or do we want to keep it? So what are, like, we only have like 2 minutes, but what are your like takeaways that we can share with the people that you have witnessed that enjoy their pain?
Yes. I caught most of that. People do like sometimes, and it's sad that they do like their pain because it does give them significance, because that's how they get their attention. So if they're sick or they're hurting all the time, they can tell people, "Oh, I'm just really bad. Oh gosh, is there anything I can do for you?" No, it's just the way that it is, and they get their significance from their pain or their disparity. So this is it's self care, and it is saying, "I want something more." Uh, if anybody wants to know, did you ask where they could get a hold of me? Is that what you asked?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
I was about to ask that. We have 2 minutes, so please share.
So they can go to 360lifewithoutlimits.com, and they can set up an appointment with me. And if they put in PAO in the apply the coupon down at the bottom, it's a complimentary call. And this way I know that
Yay.
they and then I'll reach out to you and let you know how that worked out. But if you've got physical pain, or if you're dealing with something and you want to get where you want to go further and faster, if you don't want to dabble with getting results and you want results, now's the time to do that. 360lifewithoutlimits.com. And it's a complimentary call. Sign up for the virtual coffee. It's a 30-minute call. Don't sign up for the full therapy, otherwise I have to charge you. But the complimentary virtual coffee, sign up there, and in the code, just put POA or PAO, okay, for Paola, and we'll go from there. And I look forward to meeting with you.
Yes, that would be great. If you guys do that, you would only get the Agascu. Like, if you say, "Oh, I'm in pain, I need his strategies and techniques," is a combo. To be honest, it brings the Agascu method with it, but also he does life coaching as well.
That's
So
it.
thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you, Stanley, so much for sticking with us and sharing your knowledge about imposter syndrome, about your wisdom and your experiences as a Gascu coach. I appreciate you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much for listening to us. Please, blessings and take care. High five, Stanley.
Okay. Thank you.
Yay. Please watch Spanglish Network. I think it's .ca. I lost my notes. You can also hear it on the radio station. Please watch us, hear us, listen to us, and search us on Zingo TV. And I cannot wait to see you next Tuesday. Please take care, and we'll see you later.